what I forgot tonight. I'm sure I forgot something with all the audio tweaking. I would say Gimbal and Terry.
You guys are wonderful.
If you guys don't mind, go ahead and launch your Tailspire instance. I'm going to be managing part of this party split by using physical terrain and Tailspire simultaneously to switch back and forth between your scenes. I don't think you'll be interacting a ton with the tool. I shouldn't say that. Depends on what you do, but at the very least, it'll give you sort of a setting for what's going to happen to you.
I'm in.
That didn't sound ominous at all.
All right, so you're going to join the Blue Box First board.
Oh, I can't hear you now.
Nah, he's cutting out.
Just do it again? God, I don't know, guys. I mean, if this is problematic tonight, I'm not gonna go through this all night with this. I don't know what the deal is.
Honestly, John,
yeah.
I think it's the music. The music is overtaking your voice as the main input into your microphone.
Okay, well, I tested that, Terry, and the thing is, it's physically impossible because the music and the microphone all go into a mixer, and the mixer outputs one audio piece, and the same audio piece goes to Zoom and to Twitch. And
so the
Twitch,
music's not live in your room.
No.
You're not hearing.
Well, no, I'm hearing. I'm only hearing it pushed through the same channel that the Twitch audience is. So, like, what I hear here is exactly what the Twitch audience hears. My voice never drops, and the Twitch audience never hears my voice drop. Only the Zoom people are hearing.
So how are we hearing the music in Zoom?
You are hearing the music in Zoom because my mixer outputs the full mixed channel to Zoom as well. So the output from the mixer includes my audio and the music audio. And I did test it today, and there were times where it was dropping my voice without any background music. But it does seem like it's happening more with background music. But it wasn't happening that way before, and there's no way that it should be.
Has it been happening since you switched to wearing headphones all the time? Because before you played it live in the room, so...
I did play it live. I played it live in the room, but the pickup for you guys was always coming through Zoom. It was, in fact, what I used to be concerned about was the music in the room would be duplicate, and Zoom did a nice job of filtering out the ambient noise, and I was only getting the stuff from. It's always come straight from the mixer.
So weird.
It's a real riddle because there should be no way that people on Zoom are hearing something different than what the people on Zoom are hearing. The way this is set up, but we'll deconstruct it, and it does seem like the ambient music sometimes is the cause, but we'll work with it tonight, and we went last time. We went 2 hours in the stream with tons of ambient music and combat, and there was no problem. And then all of a sudden at the end, it just started gapping out. So I don't know what the issue is, but we'll fight it. We have these gremlins occasionally. We always squash them. I mean, that ambient music should be super subtle. All right, so you are in. All right. I go into the Blue Box First board.
Yep.
All right. Got you both. Thank you. All right. So tell me, are your cameras locked right now on a view? Like you can just slide around.
Seeing a bunch of ocean. Like I'm still in the waiting.
I just see a tree.
Yeah,
and some grass.
You should only be seeing a tree and some grass. Yeah. Thank you for joining Amber's 128. We'll be kicking off here in just a couple of moments. And ultimately, Rory, again, I
just see nothing. The waiting room.
Oh, you know what? You're not in yet. So let me summon you again. I said you're both in, but I was wrong. It's only Terry.
Lied.
Are you in the Blue Box First board?
I am like 90% positive.
I think you might have gone to the Blue Box General.
Okay. Let me exit to main menu. Yes.
Thank you for the host, Josh. Good to see everybody in. The other Josh, good to see you. Patrick, are you feeling better, Patrick? Sounded like you were on the mend. The jab knocked him. All right, you're in now. All right. And are you just seeing a tree and grass and maybe a rock there?
Yeah, no minis or anything. Just yeah,
The
exactly.
hiccups. Can I talk about something real quick?
Sure you can.
Mhm.
Do you know what I saw on TikTok?
But
This guy was washing his dice, and I was like,
yeah, the big
when was
bowl.
the la-
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
saw
when was
that
the
too.
last time I washed my dice? I'm like, that's kind of gross. Maybe I should wash it. And then I was gonna wash it today, and I was like, we're playing today. I'm like, maybe not a good idea. Maybe I'll do tomorrow.
Well, he
Yeah, well,
shares his dice
Yeah.
with other players too.
Yeah, but still, it's still kind of gross.
But we
Like,
have the same dice bag. Because this is the dice bag he has.
Oh, that is a dice bag. Do you separate it by like how he separated it?
I actually
Or
don't.
no?
I don't separate mine by die types. I separate them by character. So each pouch is by a different character because I have certain dice for a certain.
Thank you for the sub, Rory. And let's jump over and let's kick off our show tonight with the amazing Greyhawk intro map from Anna B. Meyer.
But yes, washing dice, I think should do it at least maybe once a year.
Well, and make sure not to make it too hot because one of the things he had boiled his
Boiling
water,
yeah.
and he could have really destroyed his dice because the acrylic can't be that hot.
That's what I was thinking too. Like the first time was fine, and then he's like, "Oh, my water wasn't hot enough," so I put boiling water, and I was like, Phineas already, man.
Well, you know, he's got some feelings about last week's situation, so.
Oh, he's also got a feral rat on his neck. So
I feel like I should pull out
I would actually like to.
Wow, that's really loud.
Yeah, pretty loud. I'd like to actually retroactively do something. I don't want to grab Rin. I want to grab Phineas.
No, you do not touch my wolf.
Oh man, that would have been.
You
horrible.
think Alondra's mad at you now? Do that. It would be worse.
hey, viewers, let us know, how's the audio sound? Are you hearing us okay? Is the music too loud? Are we too quiet? This map should be one of the louder things that you would hear during the evening from the audio. We've got pretty dramatic music mixed with it intentionally. I'm looking at the levels here on the mixer. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a bit on the hot side, but not bad. What's the chat saying? Good, I'm glad to hear that, Patrick. So you're still good for tomorrow night. I'm excited to have you here tomorrow night.
Have you tried running the Zoom client as administrator to guarantee its priority?
Well, that's a really good idea, Robert, and I will try that. But even then, wouldn't it make sense if the mixer is pulling, if it's pulling one audio stream from the mixer? I don't know, but I'll try it. I mean, I'll try anything at this point. It's not like I have a better idea. I'm not going to stop it right now in midstream, but
I'll give you some glitter to try.
your glitter comes up every other stream. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. How does the audio sound, everyone? I haven't seen anybody say good or bad, so I'm assuming it sounds all right.
Gosh, they can't even hear us.
Yeah, they don't hear, they didn't hear the question.
Pat draws art for
Sounds
fan art
fine to
for a
you.
stream yet.
Oh, we are unfan art, he said. Uh-oh.
Unfan
Uh-oh, we
art.
got unfan art. All right, so let's talk about our sponsors quickly, and we're going to skip some of the other videos tonight just to get moving with time because I believe this is Vivi's short night.
It is.
Jeez.
So I'm getting better at tracking that stuff. So I'm going to jump in the fan art channel. And while I'm doing that, we're going to go to what happened last time. We're going to talk about our giveaways. We're going to talk again a little bit about the story arc and what's happening with the GHA campaign. Of course, we had a pretty interesting session last week. Should be fun to see where this goes tonight. The players are still in the midst of a combat. And while the combat had tilted in their favor and they'd eliminated two of probably the two most potent enemies in the room. They also just lost 2 members of their party through a portal, which we'll talk about. But let's go ahead and let's go through our sponsors. And I'm going to do this quickly tonight for sake of time. First of all, we want to thank Ferox Fabrications. Darren and his crew, absolutely fantastic stuff that he makes. You've watched his cool video that we do all the time, this sort of 80s vibe. But he makes wet palettes and mini holders and brush holders. He's got a laser engraver that he does amazing stuff with. He had a really cool Instagram post on Monday with a new carving that he had on one of his mini holders. We love Darren and Ferox Fabrications. Very good supporter as a sponsor. We have Frederica Draws. Frederica does all the artwork. She's doing the artwork for GHA Book 2. That will be with the same group of players. And then she's actually not going to be doing any additional Twitch artwork as she's pursuing a career in art with some other opportunities that she has. And we're super excited for her. She's been a fantastic sponsor for 2 years now with us. We have the art of Mike Disney. Mike Disney, amazing, amazing artist. He does everything from green stuff, goop, that he makes things from nothing with, to fantastic artwork, to mini painting that is legendary, to actually creating something which is now in the Reaper Bones pack, which is the Overgourd. Mike joined us last week very kindly on our LMA session, and he is actually painting an Overgourd that you will see premiering, I think, on stream here. I don't know if anyone's done it yet. Premiering on stream for us during virtual Greyhawk Con in one of my 2 Blue Box sessions as the BBEG, suiting for the month of October. Mike Disney streams almost probably 3 times or 4 times a week, usually in the mornings. You can always check him out on Art of Mike Disney. We have Mantic Games. We're going to be featuring one of their products tonight for a giveaway, and we're very grateful to Mantic Games and their products, makers of Terrain Crate, Kings of War, all kinds of other very cool stuff. We have Cozy Gamer Dice. Cozy Gamer Dice are amazing dice that roll nat 20s. If they are held in the hand of someone named Evelyn, they roll nat 20s at a triple rate. They are incredible dice. Cozy Gamer, she is such a good sponsor for us. We are very appreciative of her, and I feel like I'm forgetting one. Who am I forgetting, Evelyn?
1, 2. The Troll Lord Games.
Troll Lord Games. Thank you. By the way, keep Chuck and his family in your thoughts. They are having a bout of COVID as well. And so just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. But Chuck and Steven and all the folks over at Troll Lord Games, great friends, makers of Castles and Crusades, featured here every Friday night, almost, on Friday Night Crusades, led by our own Phantom NJ. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And with that said, let's go to what happened last time.
All right, so when we started off last time, the party found themselves facing, well, at least for 3 of them, the greatest foe that they have been dealing with since the very beginning of their adventures together. Halia, along with a demon she had summoned, the Paling, and a Red Lord Mage. The party began doing everything that they could to take these foes down, though there was both good and bad that happened. The web that Gimbal used very early on was quite useful in slowing the progress of some of these folks down. However, the Paling was very focused on Brim, and took Brim from full health down to 0, though he had been helped by a prayer to his deities. He was in fact knocked down after taking 75 hit points of damage in 1 round from the Paling. Thankfully, Alondra had a full healing potion on her, which she used to get Brim back up into the fight. Rin was offering lots of protection as much as he could and healing, as well as walloping on the demon with his spiritual weapon. Lilith was using spells as creatively as possible. Once the fear that she had been trapped in for a few rounds had finally released her, and she set her sights on Halia as well, though trying very hard not to set Gimbal's webs aflame to make them as useful as possible for as long as possible. As the fight waged on, Halia was whittled down little by little, and the Paling actually lost part of his head to a very massive critical, as Alondra was actually going to rescue Brim. and which made it much easier for Brim to finish him off once he was back on his feet and back in the fight. Finally, after Halia tried to run through spikes and other things to escape towards the portal in the room, Brim finished her off with a massive blow, which she had some things prepared, and a contingency went off as she fell, and a strange mote of light rose from her, and through the ceiling of the room, Brim and Gimbal noticed through the portal they could see Hamlet, and Gimbal and everyone else, remembering the threat that was made by the undead creature that had sort of tried to warn the party off about if they pursued this path that they would be endangering their loved ones and everyone they cared about, kind of put the connection together. And Gimbal said he couldn't stay, he had family that he needed to get to, so he jumped through the portal where he saw Hamlet. Brim said he could not leave the rest of the party, but made a choice to try to rescue the next closest person to him, which was Rin, who did everything he possibly could to resist being thrown into the portal, including throwing away his disc of Palor to Alondra and saying that if you do this now, you are sending me to my death. Brim, taking that into account, made his choice and threw Rin through the portal. And as the fight wages on in the room, with the Red Lord Mage and the demon being the final enemies standing, the Wayward Bolt finds themselves divided, 3 in fight and 2 in Hamlet.
Or presumably in Hamlet. They leapt through a portal that was closing that showed Hamlet. All right, so with that said, let's go to, by the way, yes, my morph said last time Brim showed what a bully he is. Oh, you may get a little bit of that tonight, Josh, but it's all in fan love. All right, so let's go through players, and then what we're going to do is when we get to break, when we come back from break, we'll go into the player, your streams. I want to talk about the Extinction Curse and Children of Dirt, both streamed last night. Really well attended streams, some interesting stuff that happened. So I want you guys to be able to talk about those and other projects. We'll do all that after the break when we have a more full audience. So let's go ahead. Let's introduce PCs and we'll jump right into it. Let's start with you tonight, Vivi.
I'm not ready. Just kidding.
She wasn't
Hi, my name is
ready.
Phoebe. I am playing Lilith. She is a level 7 Greyhawk, wild elf druid. She's been very quirky. She's a very quirky character. However, as of late, she's been doing nothing but wild shaping in quirky ways instead of just being quirky in Lilith form, aka trying to make a crocodile ladder. But and yeah, so soon hopefully we can have a rest, and then Death Llama can appear, whether it's in combat or just for funsies.
And you didn't try to make an alligator. You did make an alligator ladder.
I did, but nobody used the alligator ladder, which I was kind of disappointed in. It was a good idea.
All right, go ahead, Gimbal.
Yeah, so I play Gimbal, and level 7 wizard illusionist. He always tries to do things for the better of the team. Please remember that.
Always?
Yeah.
All right, let's go
Debatable.
to Terry.
Muted.
I play Rin Autumn Crest, a level 5 half-elf cleric who is unable to heal right now.
All right, and let's go to Terry.
Terry just
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Josh.
Just went.
Josh.
Terry
Who'd you
just
say?
Josh.
Josh.
Oh, Josh. Okay.
Oh, okay. We're like all sitting here like,
Hi guys, I'm Josh. I play Brimstone. He is a half ogre fighter of the 7th level. Not much to him other than a very tall and beefy boy, and a disciple of Zodal and Hieronius.
Keep your Enemies near and your friends nearer. Fan art by Pat Draws. You can always find that in our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, you can just type !Discord, which Evelyn will probably beat you to, and you can click that link and it will take you right into it. All right, last but not least, Evelyn.
I play Alondra Tavane. She is a level 5 half-elven Beastmaster Ranger. She travels with the goodest boy, Phineas, who is both mighty protector and protectee of this ranger, who may not look as intimidating to some as she should, but will.
All right. And
Bum, bum,
with that said, we'll do one other order of business, which is announce our giveaways tonight. We're going to do 2 giveaways. We're going to do a Blue Box mug. If you already have a mug, because we have several viewers that have been with us for a long time, and you're beginning to assemble your cadre of Blue Box swag. So if you already have a mug, we're now going to let you swap out for, hats and shirts and hoodies and whatnot. But if you don't have one of these already, this will be the giveaway tonight. And then secondly, we're going to do a Mantic Games terrain crate giveaway tonight. We're either going to do I say terrain crate. We're actually, one is a terrain crate. It is this set here, which is a livery stable. Includes several components of scatter terrain for your gaming table, and it's a really neat livery stable box set with several different items in it from Mantic Games. Or, depending on our viewers, and I have a target in my head, but I won't tell you what it is just yet. Depending on how the night goes tonight, we may give away. I've been clutching this one since I got it. I've had this one of my original sets from them. It's beefy. It's a Kings of War set, which is zombie troll regiment, and there are 3 of them, I think, in here. Yeah, these guys are big. These are heavy minis. They must be metal inside there, and they are gorgeous looking. So this guy also may be part of our giveaway structure tonight. We'll talk more about that as we get on with the night. Thanks everyone for joining us. And yeah, I'm stalling. I'm actually I'm apprehensive about tonight as well. Yeah, thank you, Josh. Here we go. Session 54 of Greyhawk Awakening, Book 1, The Wayward Bolt, entitled, The Bolt Was Never More Wayward. We're going to start with you, Gimbal. Gimbal, as you leap through the portal, there's an immediate sense of disorientation. It feels very similar to the disorientation that you felt when you leapt through the portal that you found in the Twisted Forest. But even as you find yourself disoriented, feeling like suddenly there's a vacuum all around you, your eyes sparkle with stars behind them, not in front of you, but like when you've struck your head and you see stars. There's a whooshing sound in your ears, and then you instinctively feel something is wrong. The power of this portal was shrinking as the portal itself shrunk, and you feel the tendrils of magic that were designed to comport you through space, through the dimensions, are struggling. You hear subtle arcane ping, ping, as you can feel these threads snapping. Nausea wells up in your gut. Your mind goes almost blank. You black out. And we'll go to the party. Emergency potion. Thank you, Pat Draws. And now we're going to go to the party. So party, as we review the battle cam again, and I'll highlight this for our players, what remains. So you have, where did I put my...
John, we're just getting audio super loud in the chat.
Audio super loud.
Background audio is really strong. Yeah.
Okay, hang on here. So thank you for letting me know. We're just continuing to try to figure out what is tweaking on this. I'm going to drop this guy down. Let's see what that does. Because that didn't sound terribly loud in my headset. It sounded like very audible, but not overpowering. So that's interesting. All right. So I've lost my laser pointer here, so I'll just use an old-fashioned pencil. So here you go. Here we have Brim. Brim standing near the portal. The portal itself is actually, at this moment, shrinking down to nothing and vanishing, but I've left it here for location base. This is the body of Halia here laying on the ground next to the portal. Here you have the red leathery skinned demon standing right next to the magic hammer that was cast by Rin. Did we determine that remains persistent in your absence?
It does.
It would
does
vanish,
not.
right? Yeah.
It would vanish.
So
yes.
that would vanish. I thought that was the case. Then we have Lilith here. We have Kal. And we have Alondra standing back here. The Red Lord is still flying about 10 feet above the ground. You're in this underground sewer chamber, which appears to be some type of sluicing filtration system. Water slides down the walls and goes through holes in the floor. The cage in the back, you can see there's a form slumped in it. The table atop the desk atop the sewer grate there is actually got papers on it which are now burning. The papers are curling up in smoke atop the table. With our initiative, I got real distracted at the end of last session for obvious reasons. Where were we at with the initiative stuff?
I believe that was actually the end of the round.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. So
I believe
think...
it was the end
I
of the
rolled-
round.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Then we're going to go to initiative.
Because Gimble's action, and Gimble went last. Gimble's action was to head toward the portal and go through the portal.
Whoops, sorry, hit the wrong button. Gimble's fateful action for sure. All right, so we go to initiative, and who rolled last time?
That was Vivi.
All right, let's roll again, Vivi, and
All right, I got that 6.
all right, party, you have initiative. We're gonna start off with Elandra, and I'll show you a couple other angles here as well. So this is a close-up shot. You can see a little bit better. There's Elandra in the background, and I'll put those two side by side for you. So one will give you the overhead view, and one will give you kind of the close-up shot view. Elandra, what do you do?
All right, so Elandra already had her bow taut because she was preparing to fire at the mage again. Momentarily, she turns her expression towards Brim and says, "Ogre, we're talking after this," and turns it back up to the mage and sends the arrow flying.
Okay, roll to hit.
Okay, I'm gonna do this at advantage because I have advantages left over from last week.
Okay.
That's a 29 to hit.
That hits.
And then my second arrow is at advantage as well. Is a 27 to hit.
Both of those hit. Roll damage, please.
All right. $12 points of damage.
That was total between the two? That was total between the two?
I can't hear you, John. I see your mouth moving.
That was total between the two?
Yeah, it was 12 total.
Okay. So you put two more arrows in him. You see he's still struggling with the one that's stuck in his forearm up against the bone. He's looking pretty heavily damaged at this point. He curses and he shoots a baleful glare out of the corner of his eye. Let's go to you, Lilith.
Phineas?
Let's go to... Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go to Phineas. Go ahead.
Phineas is going to try to shake Squeaks off his back.
All right. So let's see. What would he do there? He's going to kind of do the dog ruffle.
Yeah,
so
and like, if he can...
Well, he can't
to
get
use his head to try to do that.
It's right on the back, and then he could sit on his haunches and kind of. That's a really tough spot for a dog to get. They got to get the sides and all around. I think so. I mean, he would instinctively do this. His best chance is going to be to shake him off. It's going to be very difficult for him to kick that off the back of his neck. Well, no, not necessarily. Actually, yeah. If he turns his head and kicks, I'll do it this way. I'll let you choose what he does. If he's going to try to shake him off, that's a pretty quick action. He could still have an attack. If he's going to sit on his haunches, turn his neck, and try to scrape that off, that's going to be a full round action.
Then I'll have him try to shake it. Just shake Squeaks off.
Okay, so let's do two things here. We're going to do...
Okay.
we're going to do a... I see that, Cam. Hang on here. I'll fix that real quick.
Beam us up, Scotty.
Yeah, that one doesn't normally do that. I don't know what happened to that one. Oh, I see. No, that is that one. That is the one that normally does that. I'll quick back over the other view so we can just keep this going. So you then will roll a d20. Give me the raw roll. And I am going to make a reflex save.
Got a 16.
16. All right.
Yeah.
As he shakes, and I still have 2 advantages remaining from last week, so I'm going to use one of those advantages for Squeaks. Good thing I did. I had a 1 and a 15 plus dex. He shakes. Squeaks.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, John. I just hear music. Lots and lots of music.
So the music does not sound. Did it sound loud to the viewers? Because again, I had Kristen and others saying it sounded good. It's getting louder. Oh, that's impossible. Ah!
The
I don't know
music
what's
tends
going
to
on.
crescendo a lot.
Yeah, well, that's true. It did have its own crescendos. You're hearing me okay again now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you fine now.
Sound great.
All right. So we'll just drop that down some more. We'll figure this out next week. So he does manage to hold on with his, and he hasn't bitten him yet, but he's got his fangs out and he's latched on to the fur as you remember, Squeaks had very dexterous hands. He was not just a typical rat. And so he's gripped on to the back of Phineas as he tries to shake him. Phineas still has 1 attack.
Okay, so then is he close enough to the demon to try to take attack at him?
Yeah, there's only 5 feet in distance there, so he turns.
Yeah, then he'll close and take a bite.
All right, roll to hit.
The 26 to hit.
Okay. That is a hit.
Okay.
Oh.
2d6 plus 10. That's 14 points of damage from the bite.
You see as Phineas latches on, the leathery skin of the demon is impervious to his bite. So there's a resistance here, basically, in D&D language. So it's got a damage resistance function that is not bypassed by a natural attack like a bite. Okay, so now we're going to go to Lilith.
Okay, I'm going to pull a gimbal here and use magic in an unconventional form, not splitting the party. Don't worry, don't worry.
So not that gimbal, the other gimbal.
You do one thing.
I mean, one thing. How many times have you split the party? Run the
Every
tape.
game at
Roll
least
the
once.
tape.
Oh, and I did get an advantage from Josh earlier, and I didn't see that. My players don't bother to tell me that stuff.
I didn't see it.
I'm
Sorry.
I'm
see it, that's
teasing. I'm
why.
teasing. All right, go ahead.
We normally do tell you.
I know you do. Go ahead.
Okay, so a DM's discretion. Lilith has stone shape. So in stone shape, you can shape a form of existing
Right.
stone into any shape that suits your purpose. Whatever, blah blah blah. Okay, so it's 10 cubic feet plus 1 cubic feet per level, so
Right.
17 feet.
Cubic feet.
What Lilith is attempting to do is to drop the floor underneath the demon 10 feet and then close him into the floor. Could I do that?
Well, okay, so cubic feet, 17 cubic feet, that is going to be, what's the dimension on that? Because that's going to be 2 by 2 by 2 would be 8, so 3 by 3, but so it's going to be like 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, right? Am I doing that math right?
I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not going to be 3 by 3 by 3 cube. So really the challenge for you is you don't know how thick this floor is, right? So
Right.
what you do is you soften it when you do that transfer to soften the stone, as you did in the dungeon way back with the Umber Hulk. You can soften it, but you don't know how deep this floor is. So it's really a question for you of whether or not you're generating enough width and depth and length with just 17 cubic feet. It sounds like a lot, but it's not when you go to cubic.
Okay. Then could I just trap his feet or whatever depth I can?
Sure. So you want to just turn right underneath his feet. You want to turn that soft.
Yeah.
Right.
So that and then encase his feet into it.
Okay. So read the. I'll let you do this as we move on, but read the spell description. When you soften it, do you have the ability then to immediately turn off the following round?
Yes, because that's stone shape. Because I also have soften earth and stone, which is different. That's one that just softens it.
Right.
This one is stone shape, so I can mold it.
You're just trying to shape
like.
the stone around his feet. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
correct.
All right, hang on one second.
Encasing his feet into stone.
Lilith uses pie to feed the group behind. Nicely played. All right, hang on here one second.
Points for making. See, that's gonna be part of my stream MVP. Making John do math. Quick math.
I resent
Okay,
that. I do math all the time. I don't do
I know.
cubic analyses all the time. Okay, here. So.
Really test me all. I learned from the best, Gimbal.
Thanks.
So basically what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to take that stone and you're going to try to wrap it up around his feet.
Yes.
Okay. Then what I'm going to say that creates for him is a dexterity check, but I'm going to make that dexterity check for him at disadvantage because he's engaged in combat. He's not really paying attention what's happening under his feet. So it would only be as the stone starts to move is his reaction quick enough, because the stone is not just going to, it's not going to snap up like that. It's a 6 seconds of forming as it comes up around his feet. So let's go ahead and make his roll. And I will burn an advantage, which will make this a regular roll, not a disadvantage roll. Let me check his... Make sure I have this right. That is a +6 on reflex. We're going to give him a DC 18 on this. You successfully entrap the demon's feet in the stone, anchoring him down right where he's at. Well done, Lilith. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, as Lilith kind of leans down to touch the ground to shape the stone around his feet, she looks up at the portal, noticing that Gimbal just disappeared in between the portal and the portal getting smaller.
Okay.
Just a blank stare on her face as she's kind of fixed at that portal.
Okay. All right, good. All right, let's go now to Brim. Brim, you've just finished your follow through.
Okay.
Your sword dropped at your feet.
Yep. Brim's looking over Alondra, will nod, scooping up his blade, and will run forward. How high up is the mage?
I think he's about 10 feet off the ground. And there is that desk in front of you.
Yeah.
Now you could do one of three things. You could try leaping on that desk, but the desk is aflame. There are papers burning atop it, as I mentioned. You don't know the structural integrity of it, and you're very heavy. But you could do that. You could run around the right side of it. The right side would be over here, and if you move here, you're passing past the cage around toward him. That is probably the longest route. Or you can go to the left side. You'd have to hurdle Phineas, but that would be really no challenge for you. I mean, we'd do some sort of a basic save, but you'd have to really blunder it. You would hurdle Phineas. You would not provoke an attack of opportunity from the demon because its feet are anchored and you would be more than about 8 feet from it. So you really have 3 options of ways that you can get there.
I don't want to go on the table. I'll probably go around to the left, jumping over Phineas and running towards the mage.
Okay. Just roll d20 and let's call this a reflex or a dex check. And we're gonna, because you're going in the opposite, the only thing you don't want to do, just don't roll a 20. All right, so you're trying to roll under. It's a very, very simple check for you. It's just you're not normally hurdling. You're in combat. You've just picked your blade up off the ground. You turn. You leap over the wolf. Just don't mess it up.
So dex check usually means I've got to get below my dex, correct?
Right.
Yes.
So I'm saying now you could even fail. Right. I'm saying you could even fail your dex. Just in this case, just don't roll 20. Don't roll effectively what is a fumble on a stat check.
I'll be using advantage to disadvantage. 2 nat 20s. This is the time.
Turns the dark blade
both are
reaver
below.
in his hand. You leap over. Now, this is going to be for you 10, 20, 25, almost 30 feet of movement. So you will not get your attack this round.
That's fine.
But you are now standing directly beneath the red mage. And of course, your length and Reaver's length would be ample to strike the creature. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Is it possible for me to get more towards Alondra, kind of in the way of the mage?
Yes, absolutely. So you want to move?
Then yes, that's what I want to do. Even if it's I have to spend more movement next round, it's more like
no, because you could have. You're right in that middle area where basic movement versus sprinting. You've still taken up the full action. If you could have sprinted even much further if you wanted to. So you get there, you jostle yourself, you position between Lilith and the red mage. Although technically, him at 10 feet, you at 8. There's an angle there, but you were definitely in the way. Okay. All right. Anyone else saying anything before the round ends?
Call needs to do his thing, and that's it, I believe.
Call, yeah, you're right. Call now face to face with the demon. The demon now is flat-footed as a result of the stone shape, so that's going to drop his dex bonus on his armor class. And Call lets out a battle cry, spinning his twin scimitars. I will send you back to the abyss, demon! Not with that one, he won't. That's a hit on the second roll. One of his blades slices the side of the creature. And you see it does do some damage, but again, it does not look like as much damage as it should have been. And of course, for our viewers, I think you all understand, anytime I say that, that's effectively communicating there is some sort of a damage resistance on the creature. All right, let's go to now the red mage.
And his arm is still incapacitated.
Yeah, so I think what I said was it's not incapacitated per se, but he has got a penalty on all spell casting and all checks. So, you know, if he's got somatic movements that he's making, I said he's going to have to make a concentration check on any of those somatic movements to use that hand. So what he does, as he sees Brim running toward him, he's going to go up higher. I said the ceiling in this room was 30 feet. So he's not going to provoke an attack of opportunity by moving up higher. So I'm not going to move the mini up higher. I have a taller one, but it'll just take him out of frame. In fact, he's already out of frame on that camera, but he's here. Let me move that a little easier so it's easier to see. So he is going to move up higher out of Brim's blade. And as he does so, he pulls out a wand with his good hand. And let's see.
No.
1, 2. Not likely. Alondra. We go. Brim. Yep. No, actually, no, because Alondra just put the arrows in him. He's going to have the angle. All right, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to have, because he already had a bit of an angle, 8-foot Brim, mage floating 10 feet off the ground, 6-foot tall mage, wand, let's say approximately 5 feet, that's 15 feet off the ground. Alondra standing 5.5 feet. The angle on that is not a terrible angle, but as he floats up, he has a better angle. He points the wand at Alondra, and you see a jagged bolt of lightning arcs out of the end of the wand at Alondra. So, Alondra, what I'm going to do is, because Brim moved in front and made the angle more difficult, you're automatically going to get advantage on this reflex save. So you don't have to burn an advantage. You're going to make your reflex save at advantage to try to leap out of the way.
All right. That's a natural 20, so I think I got it.
All right.
Yeah, it
So
is.
which direction are you going to move?
I'm going to jump, I guess in kind of more toward where the demon is.
All right, so you're going to leap this direction. Now, typically, barring certain feats that can reduce it completely, making a save on a reflex save for something like lightning does not eliminate the damage. It cuts it in half. However, because I had already applied a disadvantage for angle and you had a nat 20, I'm going to put this in quarters. So you're going to take 1/4 of the damage that you would normally have taken.
Because Brim is right there, does he take the other quarter or any of the damage?
No, because again, if he had tried to make that initial shot, that would have been the more likely outcome. In fact, might have.
Okay.
But he really he got up to get the proper angle. So it's not as though he missed her. He hit right where he wanted to hit. She just wasn't
Gotcha.
there anymore.
Gotcha.
So I appreciate your willingness to take additional damage. You take 8 points of damage from the lightning bolt.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Art Hard. Good to see you. And thank you. We appreciate that. All right, now Squeaks. Squeaks is going to try to bite down through the fur on Phineas. He's not able to get through yet. He's trying to burrow down.
His AC is at 23. I can't hear you though, John.
So yeah, I have his AC down. So he's not able to bite. The fur is so thick and the hide is thick. What kill Essex? I'm not sure I get that.
Well, we've got to kill Essex now.
Dang it!
That's a new thing on the
That
list.
campaign already ended.
So tries to bite down, but is unable to penetrate the thick fur and hide of Phineas. Now we're going to go to the demon. The demon attacks. Actually, no.
Actually, no.
No, that's not what he does at all. Just one of the handy special abilities. You can read that one there.
Greater teleport.
What a jerk.
You see,
He's always running away.
realizing its feet
I
are
just wish
clenched.
I could hear how he's doing this.
Realizing his feet are clenched in the stone, the demon suddenly vanishes and reappears behind Brim.
That is some bull. Let me tell you.
That is not some bull. That is a very reasonable move for this demon to make.
Good.
All right. And with that, we're going to pause and we're going to go back to Gimbal. Gimbal, as the nausea subsides, you feel yourself churning through this dark vortex. You come back awake after blacking out briefly, and then suddenly you pop out and you realize with dismay you are about 30 feet off the ground. As you plummet, you see forest beneath you. You're too disoriented to really tell where you are. But as you fall, you crash through some trees. 30 feet, that's 3d6. Now, I'm going to say if you have like a wand or a ring of Featherfall, you could take action like that, but you're not going to be able to cast it with the disorientation you have coming out of this. You take 12 points of damage, thunk, as you slam into the floor, or actually, pardon me, the ground. It's grassy ground. You're clearly in a forest. Trees surround you, rocks, and you can dimly hear some sound in the distance as you try to gather your wits. Rin, you're going through the same experience I described earlier for Gimbal. As you churn around, this feels very different for you. While you lack the arcane sense for what exactly is going on, you know this is taking much longer. And in fact, for you, though you have no comparison, this is OOC, it takes even longer than it took for Gimbal. Further diminishment of the portal's strength occurred even between the time Gimbal jumped through and the time Brim grabbed you and tossed you through right as the portal was closing. You feel the same sense of nausea and disorientation. Your ears pop like you're moving in and out of elevation. Your eyes begin to water and sting. It feels like you're inhaling great gasps of smoke, and the darkness surrounds as though mocking that there is no light of Pelor in this place. As you turn around in the darkness, Gimbal, this happens for you, and this is obviously not contiguous with timing for the party. The party, whatever is going to happen, is going to take the amount of time this is taken. It's a good 3-4 minutes as you're gathering your senses and looking around before you pop out. Rin, you are 40 feet in the air. Higher, you see the same forest beneath you, and you begin to drop. As you fall, you take...
Do I see, like, him in the same area? Like, is it I pop out and I'm...
I'm going to explain to you what happens in a second. So, you only take 12 points of damage. That dice roll was not nearly as good, despite the 4...
I'm knocked out.
Yeah.
I was at 6 points of damage.
Okay.
I'm at -6.
Okay, so Gimbal, you hear crash through the trees, thunk, and you look over, not right where you were, moved about 15 feet to your right. You see a shape lying there, even in there's strong moonlight coming through the trees. It's Rin that's just fallen through behind you.
So I wouldn't have seen him falling to be able to, or had time to cast something to...
No, because because he was... You had no knowledge he was coming. You're looking ahead, and I'm going to tell you why you're looking ahead. You realize you begin to take stock of where you are. You are very near Hamlet. You recognize this forest. You recognize this road. You are on the road between the moat house and the town of Hamlet. But the sound that you heard as you were looking around, it is the sound of the boots of soldiers and horses on the road. This is what you were looking at in the 3 minutes as you were looking through the trees, trying to get a sense of what was around. That's when you suddenly heard the crashing sound and the thunk. That turned your eyes over just in time to see, boom, the body bounce on the ground.
Does it seem like it's just a slow-moving caravan? Do they seem like they're on a fast march?
So as you're observing, you hear shouts, and in fact, you see one. They're about 200 yards away from you. You're not terribly close to the road, but you can see that some of them pull up, and you've seen several horses, several mounted men. It's difficult to see in the dim of the forest. But it looks like a small army.
Obviously, I can't see any kind of emblems or anything. It's going to be too dark for any of that. Or do they have a flag that they're...
Roll perception.
Did I have any left over? I have one left. I will use my last.
Thank you for the sub, Chris.
What do you call that? Okay.
John, I sent you a message in Discord.
Thank you.
Okay. Perception gives me...
I did, thank you.
An 11.
Perception gives you an 11 total. No, you can make out. It looks like several of the soldiers on the road are wearing robes, but in the moonlight in the forest, it's difficult to tell more than this.
Okay, I don't want to take up a lot of time just in case there's something that gets noted. I don't want to risk taking too much time that they're gone by the time I figure something out. So noticing that I'm having to squint to really recognize anything. And Rin, I don't know if we're running this in rounds, but he's 15 feet away, so I do want to...
Yeah, we're not an initiative.
I can only move 10 feet. I'll move the 10 feet.
No. So we're not an initiative.
What'd you say?
You're not an initiative.
You're not an initiative.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to run over to Rin immediately and reach into my my bag, and previously Rin had found an amulet of some sort, and this whole time I haven't been able to identify it for him. We've seen amulets with Ashrin and stuff. I just want to quickly cast Identify on it and see if that can help him.
All right. As you move forward, you see the body of Rin. He does not look good. He's got blood. One of his arms is kind of twisted sideways a bit, completely unconscious. He made a pretty good-sized dent in the ground where he hit it. But you run up to check the amulet on his body, and as you do so,
and I'll be casting Identify on the
Right.
amulet.
Okay. As you identify the amulet, it is an amulet of healing with 1 charge remaining. Thank you, Patraz.
So I would know how the amulet works with the Identify.
Mm-hmm.
So then I will immediately put it to use and use it on him.
Okay, so you place the amulet around your own neck. You know you have the ability with this from your Identify to either apply it to yourself or to another. So you apply it to Rin, and there's no roll for you to make. This is a heal. So the spell Heal, as the amulet glows briefly, sort of an orange, almost the color of fire, and then it begins to peel away as though the metal itself were burning, and in moments ash just drops from your neck. But Rin, his arm twists back into proper shape. You see the wounds on his face heal, and his breathing returns to regular cadence as his eyes flutter open.
How much healing was that, John?
That's a full heal.
Fully.
Ren, you okay? Everything seems you look healed. How do you feel?
Rin will look up at the gnome, look around the area, confused.
It takes you moments.
Stand up,
Sorry, go ahead.
brush himself off, and begin walking away.
All right. So I was just saying, what you've also noticed, you're seeing the same thing after a few moments. You can hear the sounds of horses, men walking along the road. So what direction are you moving? You have never been to this area. You are not
Correct.
familiar with this place at all. So where are you going?
I will move in a direction opposite of the sounds that I hear and opposite of Gimbal.
Okay, Gimbal is a point. So we'll move away from, directly away from the soldiers. Okay, so you see Rin turn, and he just, without a word, begins stalking away.
Ren, where are you going?
And Rin will continue to walk.
He keeps walking, making no answer to Gimbal.
Gimbal, rather confused. I called out, like going through his mind quickly. I called out. I said what I saw. I called for everyone to go. And Rin's never been like this before towards me. So, Rin, where is everyone else?
And are you remaining where you're at, or are you following him?
I mean, the guy's obviously giving me the cold shoulders, so I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty clear.
I'll keep some distance from him, but I don't want to be shouting either.
Okay, so you
know,
kind of
5-10 feet.
you trail a
trailing behind him,
discreet
yeah.
distance behind him. All right, you
Yep.
continue to move through tall trees, but not particularly dense here in this part of the Flyness. Rocky outcroppings. Gimbal, again, you're very familiar with this area. There is, cover, but it's not the cover that makes you feel incredibly safe around several soldiers. But you follow behind him, speaking in sort of a normal tone of voice just to cast it those few feet toward him. And what did you say?
Rin, where is everyone else? Everyone should have came.
At that, Rin will stop. He'll pause for a moment. He'll turn around, look at the gnome. Your friend decided it was best to throw me through the portal. Your friend ignored my wishes. Your friend has left me without the ability to call upon Pelor. Your friend removed my ability to help this group. You'll see a fierceness in his eyes, a fierceness that you've never seen before. You will see an anger welling up in him. His words, they're simple, they're direct. Each syllable comes out with a harshness that you have not ever seen from him in the week and a half, 2 weeks that you have seen him. He continues to look at you. Do not speak to me. I do not trust you. I do not trust your friends. I now must find a way to get my disc back. Elandra has it. I don't know where we are, but I will do what I have to do. And with that, he will turn around and he continues to walk.
So it doesn't make sense, Rin. And I can tell you where we're at.
At that, Rin will stop. He'll turn. Then point me in the direction to the nearest town and leave me alone.
Are the soldiers still at the road, or have they passed us by now?
No. So, yeah, I'm sorry if this wasn't clear. The road that they're on, this road is the road between Hamlet and the Moat House. Right. You are off the road, perpendicular to the road. They're getting no closer or further from you, except as they would along a parallel line.
That's what I mean. Have they continued on and they're further down than they were?
No. So now you realize, again, this is like a small army. This is not a part. There are people moving to and fro on the road. It is a constant sound of horses. Occasionally there'll be gaps. There'll be a little bit of silence, sounds in the distance, but this is not a party of 6 or 5 or 10 moving from point A to point B. This is a traversing of many.
Just with very clear whether he sees it or not, just confusion. Again, I called out. I said what I have done everything Lilith has constantly said to do. And I didn't see anything that happened after I went through, so utterly confused. Ren, I can point you in the direction. I don't know who's on the road, so please just be careful. There's a lot of people, but we're near Hamlet. We went to a place, a moat house, down this way, and I don't recommend going there. That's where it was a very bad place. But if you go this way and you follow the road, I don't know what happened or why any of it happened. I don't know why you don't trust me anymore, but maybe this will be the first step in you understanding that I'm showing you the truth. this way. Just be careful, please. And I'll point in the direction of Hamlet. And if I can recall anything that might be of concern along that path besides the people traversing, I would point those out to him as well. Simply, straight to the point, softly, in the direction that he needs to go.
Yeah, now you can tell you hear you're about a mile outside of Hamlet. You're familiar with this. There's a turn in the road just ahead, which you could see through the trees. This was your marker for knowing where you are. There would be nothing in a normal time that would be an obstruction on this road, but you can tell him distance and approximate distance and everything you've already told him. So Rin, Gimbal relays all this to you, the plaintive tone in his voice, the confusion and hurt in his eyes, the resign to your resolve. What do you do, Rin?
Rin looks at him. If you want to know the truth, speak to the ogre. And he turns and he walks.
Rin, real quick. I know you don't have your item. I don't know if you have anything to protect you, but I can give you at least a dagger if you would take it. And I'll reach in and I'll pull out the dagger, the dagger of returning. I have this, and it's at least something.
Rin will shake his head. I have my quarterstaff. I will be fine.
Okay. Just Hamlet's right there. And I'll just sentence will fade off and just stop.
Rin turns. Rin Autumncrest in an area he's never been before, in the midst of a moonlit forest with enemies surrounding, frustrated, burdened, hurt beyond measure, walks away from Gimbal, clutching only his staff and his love for his god. Gimbal stands astonished, confused, and in no small means frightened as they are surrounded by soldiers on all sides, moving up and down the road in a direction which, while parallel to him, would be perpendicular to his homeland in the Cron Hills, passing right through the area that goes into Hamlet. Gimbal, as you look around in the forest, you watch Rin Autumncrest's footsteps recede in the distance, twigs crunching in the chill winter evening. What do you do?
Relatively close to me, is there a large rock formation?
Yeah, I pointed that out. You landed, fortunately, right next to one instead of right on top of one. So,
thank heavens. Okay.
If you look on your screen, you can see you're here, and there's a large rock formation here. The road is about 250 yards on the other side of this rock formation.
Okay. I understand now. Okay. So with Rin continuing on his path towards Hamlet, the group presumably still fighting. Everything, wizards should have been dead, or at least us gone. Demons are horrible. We should have been just confused. And Rin leaving, I grab my satchel, my bag of holding, and I hold it tight and just run towards the rock. And as I get closer to the rock, within 10 feet, the satchel is starting to come off around me. And as I get within 5 feet, I just fling it at the rock. And I run up to the rock, and I just lay my fist into it and drop, because it's going to hurt real bad. But I lay my fist into it and just drop and I just don't. And I reach my hand into the bag and I grab, however it works, think about the bottom. I grab the bottom and I pull it out and just empty everything. You're supposed to, and I just grab an item after an item, just picking them up and look at the emptiness of each item that I have, and no one, as I'm just in the shadow of a tree by a rock.
As you do this, let's
With
resolve one.
The threat of Hollia hanging over, that the ones that are loved will be the ones that are hurt. And I am not by my mother and siblings, and I am not by my dearest friends. And now I'm confused about what she meant. And I just break down.
Outstanding. So, Gimbal, one thing we need to resolve as you do this, you run screaming, full of emotion, you hurl the bag, you do everything you just described. But when you punch that rock, you're full of adrenaline. You slam your fist into that rock. I need you to make a constitution check. So you're going to roll under your con, please.
Okay.
Thank you to the chat. Thank you, Lord Coyote, for the sub.
I got a 1.
All right, so you're fine. So you punch it. You do take 1 hit point of damage. Your knuckles are bleeding, but you do not break your hand.
1 hit point of damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Couldn't hear you there, John. Yeah. Just saying him.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna keep going. All right. So we're going to go now back to the rest of the party. So we are in the battle round here. Wrong cam. And we have resolved the enemy combatants, the lightning bolt, the
Squeaks biting.
Demon, Squeaks biting. So now we are back to initiative.
Okay.
And you won last time, BB, so you're rolling again.
Oh, BB.
The Red Lord is now floating about 20 feet above the ground. So his head is about 4 feet from the top of the cavern. Actually, you know what? Hang on. No, it is a rounded dome, so it's only 30 at the center point. Where he's at, it's going to be at about 25. So his feet are about 18, 19 feet off the ground. His head is really close to the curvature of the dome.
That's okay. He's still in my range.
Yeah, no, I'm just letting you know. I'm not just... All right.
Bonk your head. Bonk your head.
All right. Your DM has a 6 on the initiative die.
DM has it.
Okay, first one of those I've won in a while. All right, Squeaks, let's resolve him first. He once again tries to bite down on Phineas' neck. He is again unable to penetrate the thick fur and the thick hide, but he is burrowing closer and getting a better and better bite at it, kind of nuzzling his way through the fur, trying to gnaw down to the flesh. Now we're going to go to the demon. The demon attacks Brim.
Hey!
2 blows. Now, you're fortunate in that you're being flanked, so you're going to lose your dex bonus, which is nil anyway. All right.
Just hear music again.
So you're fortunate.
I just turned the stream.
Oh, I was listening to him on Twitch, so.
So was I. You're losing your dex?
Yeah. So you are flanked.
Everyone in chat is saying it got loud.
Wow, audio got really loud, both John and the music.
Yeah, that got loud.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I don't know. John and the music got loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I can hear you again.
You sound wonderful.
I don't know. We're just going to press on, but thank you. So you're flanked, which would normally be really unfortunate because you lose your dex bonus. You're considered flat-footed, but in your case, you still have a breastplate back there, so you have the benefit of your normal breastplate armor class.
Oh, I've got a great armor class.
Yeah. So give me your armor class again now that you have.
My armor class from the Steel Booty is 20.
All right. 2 blows, claws raking at your back. No, actually, you know what? It's going to use its long spear, and it's going to long spear and then try to bite.
Okay.
That is a nat 1 on the die. Man, I should have used advantage. I still have one of those left. I'm not going to use it on the confirmation of the fumble. Yeah, it's not a fumble. All right, and then on the bite, That is a hit. You feel the creature finds the soft spot on the back of your leg as it shoves the spear down and bends over. It's got this hunched form. I haven't shown it tonight. It's, again, for those that might have missed last time, this is a demon that was summoned by the Red Lord Mage. It has this fiery crimson skin barbed with black hairs that look almost like thorns, this jagged looking long spear with hooks on the blade of it, and horns that curl about, teeth, fangs that dangle down, slavering, and it bites into the flesh of Brim's leg. With that, you take 9 points of damage from that, Brim. Actually, you know what? He has a sneak attack. We're going to call that a sneak attack because you did not expect him. He came from behind on the flank. So you take an additional 9 points of damage. He catches you right in a tender spot of the leg, biting down, blood streaming from its mouth. And now we're going to go to the Red Lord. The Red Lord all right. He, holding the wand, begins to move through the air. So he's floating with his fly spell. And he starts moving toward the entrance. So he flies right over your head, Brim. And he's going to get 20 feet of movement with fly while still having an attack. So he's going to come right here. And he's going to unleash another bolt of electricity at Alondra as he flies over her head. Alondra, you're going to make a reflex save.
Yep. I'll roll it at advantage.
No, his fly is not down.
That's a 26 to save.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So you're going to take half damage. As the bolt of electricity emanates from the wand again, you see lightning arc, the smell of ozone burning in the air. You take 17 points of damage from the lightning bolt. You feel the leathers begin to smolder on your body, and that will be the end of their round. Now we go to the party. All right, let's start off with Brim. Brim, you're in direct melee combat with this creature standing right behind you. So, what are you gonna do?
Yippee-ki-yay. He's gonna turn around, looking over at where the Red Lord flew. We'll turn around to the pesky little red one behind him, and we'll take 2 swings at him with advantage. First, that is going to be 30 to hit.
That's a hit.
Okay. And then the second one will be 30 to hit again.
Yeah, 2 hits. Roll damage on both. And you see Reaver has no problem parting this creature's flesh.
Perfect. That, pretty. That is going to be... Brain. Come on, Brain. That's going to be 19 damage on the first one. And then 16 damage on the second.
Your first blow, you slash across the top, catch the creature even as it's coming away from your leg. Blood, your own blood, dripping off of its jaws. It sneers at you in derision. Your first blow catches it on the shoulder. A chunk of red flesh flies off. Your second blow, tell me what it looks like.
Oh, snap. Okay. He the first one on the leg, and then the second one pulling around, and will cleave straight through the torso. And as the blood flies up, he looks towards the entrance and yells out to the party, "Keep eyes for reinforcements. There might be more on the way." As if he has any movement, he's going to do as much movement as he can towards the red mage. Oh, actually, no. Towards the table.
All right, yeah. So you have 10 feet of movement after your attacks. You didn't resolve any movement, so you can move. So you're now standing in front of the table. You can see, the paper almost completely consumed. There are still flames licking around bits of paper on the desk. The desk is blackened on the top now, and we'll come back to you. Let's now go to Lilith.
Lilith will. I have acid dart. I think it's just from leveling up for my druid. I'd like to shoot an acid dart at Squeaks.
Okay, so Call, who has turned, because the demon just teleported. Call hasn't had his movement yet, and when he does have his movement, he would be running that direction. So that's not a problem. You just need to tell me, do you want to move closer to the corpse of the paling to get the angle, or do you want to move away closer to the fleeing Red Lord to get the angle to fire at Squeaks? Because you have right now, you have Rin kind of right in the line of fire.
Or Call, you mean?
Yeah, Call. I'm sorry, Call right in the line.
I
of fire.
would step back so that Call doesn't step in front of me, like so going behind him so that he doesn't cross me again. Yeah.
All right, so you kind of take a step toward the body of the Pale Lord as Rin clears, and what Call? God, I keep calling him Rin. All right, so you do your acid. Go ahead and roll your damage. There is no saving throw on that. I believe. No, actually, you do have a touch. I think to hit, right?
I can
range touch attack.
It says range touch.
Yeah,
attack,
go ahead and make your range touch attack roll.
Oh, okay. I'll roll at advantage. With advantage, please.
You're firing at a small target on a very furry dog, but
a 15 plus my regular base attack, or
no, be your range. So what is your base attack bonus plus your ranged, so your dex bonus.
Okay, so 15, 20 plus my dex is 23.
23. Yeah, that's just gonna hit.
Okay. Okay, so I'll roll my damage.
A ray of acid sprays out from Lilith's hand. 5 points of damage. You see suddenly a smoldering coming off the back of Squeaks. You hear a squeal and a rancid stench fills the room. The rat wriggles and...
I'm assuming Phineas would still be trying to shake him off this entire time. Would he lose?
Well, it depends. So like that, it just depends if he's going to use an attack, because he uses up an attack every time he takes the time to do that. So that's something that Evelyn has to let me know. So the rat is clearly heavily damaged. You can see bits of its flesh melting off, but it's still clinging to the fur of Phineas. Now we're going to go to Elandra.
All right, so Phineas first is going to actually actively try to get the Squeaks off of his back. So whatever he can do to try to prise that rat off his back, he will do it.
Yeah, so if he's going to take a full round action to do that, he's going to sit, especially now the Squeaks in heavily weakened form. I was rolling to see if he even managed to hang on at this point. Phineas plops down, turns his neck, massive thrust of his rear leg haunch flings the rat off of his body, and it splatters on the ground over here and stops moving. All right, what are you doing, Elandra?
Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire my arrows at the red mage.
Okay, roll to hit. That is not true.
Advantage.
Stop spreading those lies, Pat.
Do I have improved critical? I can't remember. Nope. So that's just a 31 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
And then my second arrow, I'm using my last advantage. That is a 26 to hit.
Those both hit.
All right.
Roll your damage. You see he's bleeding from multiple places. He's clearly floating back. He's flying toward the exit.
Okay, that is 18 points of damage.
Tell me what it looks like.
Okay, so knowing this mage has become a giant problem, she's just lining her bow up with him, focusing. She lets the first arrow fly. It sinks into his opposite shoulder, so now he has a matching set. And as she lays the next arrow on the string and draws back, she looks straight into his eyes as she lets the arrow go, and it sinks directly right in between his eyes, and he falls from where he was in the air and hits the ground.
Precisely as you say. You see his body twirl toward the ground, his robes fluttering, blood streaming. Thunk! He hits the stones, and then all is still.
All right. And in this moment, Alondra draws another arrow from her quiver, lays it on the bowstring, pulls it out, and returns the bow in Brim's direction.
And as you do this, you also see Rin. I'm sorry, not Rin. Why I keep doing that tonight? You also see Khal is stalking toward Brim with purpose, both scimitars in his hands.
Ogre, you are going to listen to everything I have to say and not speak a word. Because if you open your mouth for any reason before I have had my peace, this arrow is going into your gut. Do you understand me?
He nods, keeping eyes on her, but will move towards the entrance with his blade still open, peering around, but keeping an eye looking back at her.
All right, and before we do that, Khal also looks over. He looks at Alondra as she speaks. He spins his scimitars. I am not sure this is a time for words. He took my friend who is leading me toward God. He tossed him like a rag doll against his will. I heard Rin cry out. And as Khal glares at him, as Alondra prepares to speak to him, we're going to go to break right there. And so you're going to have to wait to hear what Alondra has to say until after the break. We're going to go ahead and start our giveaway. We'll do this shortly after the break tonight, which is going to be, let's not get the one full of coffee. I've done that one before. We're going to give away a Blue Box mug or a piece of swag, whatever you may not have. And then later on tonight, the goal I have is 70. So we have been hovering between 55 and 60 viewers. If we peak over 70 tonight, so if we don't, we're still going to give away this Mantic Games Terrain Crate Livery Stable, which includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think there's 9 or 10 pieces in there. Very cool scatter terrain for your tabletop and mini gaming. If we do crest 70 in the back hour or so of the show, then we'll give away this ridiculous zombie troll regiment from Kings of War, also made by Mantic Games. These guys are big, heavy zombie trolls. Really, really cool. So we'll see how that goes. And we're going to start the giveaway for the mug. So let me pull that up. All right, so in the chat, you're going to type, and don't do it yet because I haven't got the command up. We're going to go ! Mug. Hang on, I'll tell you when it's live. And it should be live. So ! Mug, ! MUG in the chat. And again, if you already have a mug, don't let that discourage you from entering the giveaway. If you're someone who's watched us a lot, and we have many of our regulars on tonight, thank you so much for being with us, then we will move that to something that you don't have, some other piece of Blue Box swag, and then we'll be giving away the Mantic Games item after the break. As always, we will leave the mics hot after break, and we'll resume with Blue Box Greyhawk Awakening episode 54, The Bolt 'Twas Never More Wayward, in just a few moments. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks for all the good humor, the comments. You guys have been great. I'm too still in the room and you're not trying to off him. I was not trying to kill Rin, I assure you. Oh, you're right. Hey, we'll do that when we get after the break. I should have done that before the break. Hey, Chris, I haven't seen him on tonight.
Wick's here. Yeah, he just said still time.
Hi, Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda, there's a bit of quietness. It's a bit of a somber, bit of a different mood tonight in the GHA crew. I just think it's the nature of where the story is, and we've got players and DM and crew that are all very invested in the players and the story. And so, you take a combat like that where the title of last week's episode was "It's the End, but for whom?" And was a very, very difficult combat that could have gone in either direction, could have resulted in the death of the Wayward Bolt or the death of Halia, the Red Lord, and her crew. And there were a couple of turning points in there, including some incredible critical rolls that were made last week, which really turned the tide of the combat, along with, I think a lot of appropriate, not unbalanced, but appropriate influence by the Mad Chatters that really, I think, helped the party some last week as well. And we like that our fans can participate and be influencing, so long as, again, it's not unbalanced. So I thought that went really well last week, but it's difficult while we know for whom the end has come. The end has come for Halia. Halia, slain is a huge part of the story's arc, but it's difficult to celebrate when two members of the party are no longer here, including one who was thrust through against his will, who was very well liked by two members of the party. And so this is a victory that is alloyed with bitterness and disappointment.
John, did you check the meme channel?
I have not.
You should.
I posted something in the meme channel on Discord.
It's great.
I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Quick maths. Quick maths.
Hey, Vivi,
It's. I mean,
Yes?
it's what I eventually came
you
up.
are now
Sorry, go ahead.
certified Gimbal approved spellcaster.
Yay!
Well
Like,
done.
honestly, I'm assuming that like Lilith would spend enough time. Like Lilith is has lived a life that's so like enclosed and like sheltered, and like now that she's traveling with all these different people and seeing and looking and finding out all these new things, it was just like something that like Lilith would have picked up on Gimbal, like, oh, I didn't know, like I had magic, but I didn't realize I could use magic in that sort of way. Kind of spinning and molding Lilith into why she decided to choose something more unconventional because of Gimbal. He was just more rubbing off on her, right?
I love that. That's great. But yeah, I think if you just in that situation again, 17 cubic feet.
I was talking.
What's that? Can you hear me or no?
Yeah.
now again.
Okay.
Yeah, I just used.
We've
Twitch when you press
we've
that.
been just unmuting Twitch
Yeah.
so we could hear you,
Yeah.
just so that it doesn't disturb the stream.
Right. Gotcha. Thank you.
It seems to work. It's not too bad.
It's
We
just
can
the delay.
Yeah, but yeah, that would be very frustrating. So we're not giving up on it, but it seems like it's happening more than ever tonight.
Yeah.
Which is odd because I rebooted everything, I reset everything, I've dropped all the levels. It's like this has been the worst week we've had
Yeah,
so far.
basically, I can always tell when I'm not going to be able to hear you because the music will become really, really loud, and then you're just gone.
So the music will, for you guys, the music will swell in volume right before I go quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So man, I am so befuddled when you
I would imagine that's why Terry thought it was the music that was doing the
right. Well,
issue, because that got louder.
yeah, and that's what I thought too. That's why I did a lot of testing today, and my mic would drop even without music. But then when I was noticing it, yeah, it's so weird because there's one mixer that takes all the inputs. That same mixer feeds that to both the Twitch or the slobs and to Zoom. But for some reason, Zoom is magically making my voice disappear, which I cannot fathom. There should be no echo cancellation, no compression, no anything that would have the power. Well, without some really, really incredible equipment, Zoom is not going to do that. Just utterly strip a voice from a mixed stream. So it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But we've talked about it enough tonight. But back to your cubic footage. The quick math was the 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, because you figure, okay, because you don't have to do that evenly as well. So if you did a 2.5 by 2, right, that'd be 5 square feet. And then if you had it 3 deep, that's 15 cubic feet, right? So you got to figure somewhere in that 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 range ish. It would be pretty easy math to do, but just in the head math, that should get you right around that spot.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's come back from break. All right, welcome back to session 54 of Greyhawk Awakening, and we're going to go ahead and do our mug giveaway first, and then I've also got an unboxing tonight. Thank you so much, Chris. That's Set Monkey on our channel, and he actually found Blue Box through Terry, and we appreciate all the support he provides to a lot of the streams. He's almost always on our GHA channel. I think I've seen him pop in sometimes on our Sunday channels. He's been a great supporter of the community, and we really appreciate him. So I'm excited. I think I have a hunch what these are. He might have given me a hint, but I wanted to make sure I opened them on stream. And it's a pretty heavy box too. All right, so if you have not yet, type !mug in the chat. !mug. And again, if you already have a mug, that's okay. We'll change to some other piece of swag, but our mugs are always in demand. People like them, especially when they don't contain coffee and get spilled all over my gaming table.
Coffee is always good.
All right.
I had 6 cups today.
All right, see, 3 more of you have joined, you thug. All right, so let's go ahead and let's roll the roll, shall we? And the winner tonight of the Blue Box Mug swag is Ian Cardman 2467. Cardman, let us know if you're still on, because you must be present to win. We're getting ready to unbox this coolness from Chris, Set Monkey. Cardman's on. All right. So congrats, my friend. Just DM me on our Instagram. If the mug is not what possesses your heart, let me know. And we'll get you some other piece of swag. And then, of course, reminder, we have coming later tonight a piece of our Mantic Games box set stuff. And which one we do will be determined by the back half of the stream. Okay, here we go. Nicely wrapped. Must be fragile. It's got packing all around it. If any of you have seen some of the stuff he's posted in Discord, you probably already have a clue here. But I just thought it's worthwhile. I'm actually very excited about this, so I wanted to unbox it on stream and kind of highlight the work that he does because it's super cool. And Chris, while I'm doing this, there's more than one in here. So for just sake of time, I'm assuming they're probably all the same. So if you can just confirm they're all the same and how many there are, then I won't go through the time to unbox each one on stream. Yes, great. Thank you so much. And then how many are there? There's I can tell several in there. It's a heavy box. All right, you ready? Oh, that is beautiful. 12. That is beautiful. Even 12 in there. Thank you so much. These beautiful engraved frosted blue box tumblers. That is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Man, thank you so much. These are awesome. Thank you, Chris. That is going to be a staple of use in my house. Appreciate that. Yeah, very nice. Hey, Jay, good to see you tonight. All right. So, as we get ready to kick off, let me go ahead and we're going to do the second giveaway setup. And we're going to do for this one, let's do, we can't do that. We can't do that. Because if we do Mantic, that's going to kick off the bot, right? So,
yes.
So, let's do terrain, all right? So, hang on here just a second. All right, type in the chat, !terrain, to be entered into our Mantic Games box set giveaway, which we'll be giving out here. And it's a shorter stream tonight. It is Vivi's early night, so we'll be done in about an hour tonight, and we're going to be giving that away. All right, and that's all you're going to type. All right, let's come back now to the party. And you are still in the sewers beneath the free city of Greyhawk. You have just gone through a mortally challenging combat that has included bloodshed, betrayals, twists, and turns. And now you stand beneath the free city in this giant underground cavern of sewage sluicing all around you. The sound of the water running, the bubbling scents and smells of the sewer surrounding you. Brim facing Alondra in a rage, and Call looking quite grim, as Alondra, still with an arrow trained at him, has just excoriated him and instructed that he will listen to every word she has to say. Go ahead, Alondra.
All right, and when Call kind of butted in the middle of that, she kind of shot him a look before returning to Brim. She's not going to acknowledge his presence because she's focused on Brim.
Did she not acknowledge, or did she shoot him a look? Which was it?
Well, she's not going to, acknowledge his words. She just shot him a look for interrupting her.
Okay.
I don't talk a lot for a very particular reason. And so, here's the thing, Ogre. I saved your life tonight. You were dead, as far as anybody else was concerned. And I made sure that you were able to be here to defend your friends, because that is the most important thing. That is what it means to be part of a group of fighters. You help each other. You trust each other. You build upon something. And it matters. And one of the things we do with the people that we fight alongside with, we give our lives for each other. We do not make choices for other people. When someone cries out, when they are asking you to not do something, you do not decide for them. You told me that being a leader means making hard choices. One of the hardest choices you can ever make is to let someone face their fate willingly and not take that from them. I can't trust you to have my best interest in mind, to do anything where you could possibly do whatever you please to any of us to get your way. I cannot trust you, Brim. And you sent my friend, who had been struck by the wand of electricity that made use on me twice tonight, where he was standing on the brink of death, and you threw him to whatever fate that lay on the other side of that portal. Did you think for a moment what that meant? Or is your completely screwed up idea of nobility more important to you than the lives of the people that you so swore to protect? Ogre, I cannot even stand to look at the sight of you right now. And your little gnome friend abandoned us when you were being pulled to the depths, to your death, and he leaps through the portal again, abandoning. Is this the type of people that you are? Is this the sort of group that the Wayward Bolt claims to be? Because if that is the sort of group you claim to be, and show yourselves to be, because your actions are more speaking through than the words that you proclaim to share. If that is who you are, I want nothing to do with it. I would never abandon a friend. I would never take that choice from them. I would never do the actions that you and Gimbal have made today. And if this is the way you act, then maybe that's why your pirate friend died before. Did you leave her? Did you sacrifice her on the altar of nobility?
About me!
You can call me weak if he shoots or he's gonna keep talking.
You can talk about me. You can talk about all of us. But do not bring Millie into this.
All right, roll the d20. You fired the arrow. Go ahead and roll the d20.
I didn't fire it.
Oh, I thought you said you shot it. Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
I said I'm done. Your actions tell me everything I need to know. And Alondra will relax the tension on the bow, throw the arrow that she had in it back in her quiver. She will silently go and collect all of her arrows from where they were, including the undead slaying arrow that was in Halia. And she is going to look at Phineas. It seems to me that your choices have been made. I have to go find Rin because he needs this if he's still alive. And she puts the disc back in her pocket and she takes all of her stuff, chucks them into the quiver, and starts walking back the way they came.
And then during all this, before Brim turns around, because he's been by the opening, having been looking back and forth, listening to her, and then right as Millie's brought up, that's when he turns and just loses it. And then he reins it back in, and he looks back towards the opening. Has he heard anything or anyone coming up until this point?
No, you hear only the drip and bubble of the sewer and the water that slides down the walls.
DM, how many of my arrows was I able to collect?
Oh yeah, so how many did you fire in total?
I mean, 2 per
difficult.
round. It was about 5 rounds, and then plus the undead slaying arrow that I shot at Halia. So
okay, so the undead arrow that you shot at Halia, that would not be damaged. The other arrows.
So about 10 in total.
Yeah, hang on here. Two of your arrows were broken. 8 of them were recoverable.
Great, awesome. All set. And she's just gonna focus. She's now focused on finding Ren wherever he is. She doesn't know, but that's her goal.
And then Brim would know which way Hamlet is, correct?
Yes.
Okay. As she leaves, he would just give a rough estimate on how far and what direction.
Okay,
He
well,
has put Reaver away.
so as this is all happening, you guys have had you still have Lilith standing in the room, and while Elandra chose to ignore Call has not ignored Brim. Call's eyes remain on Brim. He listens to the exchange. He's still twirling the blades, but as he doesn't even take his eyes off of Brim, he speaks out to Elandra as she turns away. How is it that you will find your friend? Perhaps the answers lie in here somewhere. If you walk off in the distance with no desire and nowhere how he will be, how will we find him? I would go with you, but I would not wander into the darkness blind, having no idea where he is. Lilith, are you doing anything?
Where is Elandra in relation to where she is right now? She hasn't moved from her spot.
Yeah. So as the discussion was happening, you were the closest to the door. You remain closest to the door throughout the combat. So you are not directly in front of Elandra. You are off to the side about 10 feet and about 7 feet in front of her. So if she goes to walk out, Phineas will lope past you, and she will be heading sort of parallel to you and then toward the exit. The exit is, let me turn to here, the camera, once you can see it. The exit is here to the right. So this is a kind of an angle that you can see a little bit better where you guys are. All right, so this is you, Lilith. This is Elandra here, and this is the exit here.
During this whole encounter, Lilith would be just kind of blankly staring at where the portal would be. She's kind of just phased everybody out, just kind of looking off into the distance, blankly into the portal where it used to be. With mention of Millie's name, her eye twitches and she feels it through her entire body, and snaps out of it for a second. And she'll walk over very cautiously towards Elandra, if she would allow, and try to reach out to grab her hand. Okay. Cautiously. So she's not trying to come at an aggressive way whatsoever. She's just going to come out and try to extend to reach out for her hand.
Okay, so this is all kind of happening at the same time as the words are finished, as she's gathering Phineas, as Rin speaks his words, as you move over. Let's go back to you, Elandra. What are you doing?
Okay, so as she gets the last of her arrows and she tosses them into the quiver, she's turning to walk with Phineas out of the space. If Lilith is reaching out to her, she will sort of look, pause for a moment, and kind of wait to see what Lilith is trying to do.
And Brim would be nowhere near because he'd be by the front entrance area.
I'm sorry.
See Lilith. Sorry,
oh, you've already walked out of the room, Brim? You've left?
No. Brim's by the entrance to the room. That's why he was looking out.
Oh, so you're moving. So you're moving sort of in front of where Elandra would be headed.
He was already there. He moved there as she talked with him, and he just paid attention to her, but also keeping eye towards the front of the room.
Okay.
Lilith will then just drop to the floor, and then reaching into her Millie pocket, she will just start to lay all of her Millie belongings that she has in her pocket out in front of her, in between her and Alondra, taking out a bit of sand from the beach and just kind of laying it on the ground, and her sewing kit and her flask, and just look up at her. She's on her knees on the ground. Alondra, I don't know you very well. And I understand that whatever just happened, I don't know where Kimball is. I don't know where Rin is. I do know where Hamlet is, though. Asking you to trust us, I understand, is not an easy thing to do, as we barely know each other. But please, we would never betray our friends. We would never betray Millie. We did everything we could to protect her and to make sure that she was safe. These actions, everything, I don't know what happened or why we made these decisions, but we would never. I don't expect you to trust or to believe anything we have to say, but the thing I can tell you is how to get to Hamlet. And if Rin is with Kimball, then they should be together, and we could go together to try to find them, or at least lead you in the right direction. If you don't want to go with us, that's fine. I'm sorry.
Alondra listens to Lilith. She keeps her eyes ahead. She's not looking at Lilith. A trust once broken is very hard to mend. And I don't know if I can ever feel safe around. And she'll kind of tilt her head towards Brim. Not with the way he willingly did something against Rin's wishes. He was weak. He was taking care of everyone. He heals everyone, and he cares more for everyone than basically anybody else that I've ever met. He puts everyone before him. And he would have done anything for Brim. And now he could be dead for all I know. And that's the sacrifice he put upon the altar of trust. But if there's any chance that Ren is still alive, and you might know a way to get me to him, then I'll go with you. Lilith, you've been kind to me since the get-go. But I don't know where I'm going to stand. But get me to Ren so he can heal himself. Because I can't lose a friend. Not one of the very few that I have in this world. And she'll just start walking forward.
And with that, Lilith will pick up her Millie belongings and try to catch as much sand. She didn't take all the sand out of her pocket to remain most of it in her pocket, but she'll try to collect as much as she can. If nobody else is doing anything right now, Lilith would like to find Squeak's body.
Okay. All right, Lilith, you collect your items and you move over. You do find a little gray form slumped up, half eaten by the acid, bones exposed all along his back, laying on the ground next to the edge of the sewer wall here.
With that, Lilith will just go down on her knees and just speaking quietly, just so that, just to herself mostly, she'll lean down and she'll cast Softened Stone on the ground. Before that, she'll just kind of hold Squeaks in her hand, or whatever is left of Squeaks, and quietly just say, "I'm sorry. You were a victim, just like all of us. And you were able to bring Gimbal back to us. And I will forever be thankful for that. As much as I'd want to give you a proper burial, I can't trust anything that came from..." And she'll just kind of gaze over at and glare at Halia's body on the ground. She will then just place his body into the softened stone and bury him in the stone. And then she'll get up, wipe her hands, and then follow the group out.
So, Brim, you have now Elandra and Phineas walking toward you while Lilith is doing what she's doing. Call just stands in the center of the room, still glaring and spinning his scimitars.
Brim stays out of her way as she goes to leave. Brim will actually move along the wall. And if people leave, they leave. And he's going to go through the room. He's going to go over to the cage. Because you said that we had seen someone in there, or something in there. And he's just going to make his way towards the cage, but going along the wall.
Okay. All right, Brim, you start making your way along the wall, water sluicing along the cobblestones behind you. Call, he moves over, kind of halfway intercepting you, and he looks at you. "I still do not have your answer. Comrades in battle, what you have done tonight makes no sense. Why?"
He's going to look back over to where the portal was.
"Because I felt it to be the right choice."
Call just shakes his head. You see, he makes some sort of a motion. It's clearly symbolic to him. He spits at your feet and turns away.
Brim's just going to nod and go back to what he was doing.
All right, so Elandra, are you heading back through the sewers on your own? Are you waiting for Lilith, or what is your intent?
She would make sure that Lilith was with her, but she's not slowing down. She would give, them a chance to catch up, but she's not like waiting for them. She's using her tracking senses to kind of just listen for them behind her.
Okay. All right. Lilith, do you follow after Elandra and leave Brim behind in this room?
Lilith is mildly torn. Watching Elandra walk away, but knowing enough about Elandra that she's able to manage to track away, just to make sure that she's not going too far, but also just with everything, the whole interaction, she's keeping an eye on Brim for sure. She would not leave the room until Brim was ready to go.
Brim wouldn't, not to metagame whatsoever, but Brim wouldn't be ignoring Lilith. He kind of would notice and see that they're leaving, and he would just give the slight tusky smile.
"Go on. I'll be following soon."
And with that, Lilith will turn to walk out.
And sorry.
Go ahead.
As she turns to walk, he'll swing his pack around and pull out something and toss it to you.
Do I have to make a dex to grab it?
No, if you unless it's fragile, if it drops, just pick it up. We don't need to roll for that.
She'll catch it and open it up. What is it?
As he tosses it to you, keep it close. I trust you, Moses. And he's going to turn back to what he was doing, eyes along the ground, moving back towards the cage. And as you look down in your hands, you see Millie's dagger. She, it seems to have been recently oiled. The blade seems to be recently sharpened. It seems to be very well taken care of.
And she'll just kind of clutch it really close to her chest. The words of Alondra still kind of ringing through her head. Pain running through her heart, and she will just twist the ring that's on her finger of color changing and switch over to you'll see like Lilith's skin tone switch over to that gray tone that's much like Brim's, and she'll run full tilt for a hug from behind while Brim is looking along the walls. And she'll just hang on for a longer time than that's socially acceptable, and then just kind of give him a gaze just to make sure, just to do a check-in to see if he's okay.
He doesn't hug her back. He just kind of looks down at her from under his arm and
go on.
Gazing at him again, she'll just kind of gauge to see. Promise you won't leave.
And he just kind of pats your head.
And she'll look up again. Promise.
Promise.
And if I can slip something into his pockets.
His wisdom's a 7. He will not notice.
She's not trying to do it discreetly. She's just trying to stay like it's not a. She's not trying to be discreet about it. In exchange, she will slip in Sherwin's family coin that Sherwin had given to her before he had left, and Millie's flask, and a part of Gimble's rock in his pockets. And then one more time before she leaves to turn to follow Alondra, she looks at him again one more time. Promise.
One, she's going to get too far. She moves quick.
And then she'll turn on her heel and run full tilt to Alondra.
All right, as you're doing that, you run, and Call gives one last look over his shoulder at Brim, just shakes his head, not running, just sort of stalks out of the room, following behind them, leaving Brim alone. As you move toward the cage, the smoldering desk, the smoke, the scent of sewage, the blood, you see there is a small form crumpled inside the cage.
Brim will look towards it, and not even like he's trying to figure out who or what it is. He just wants to open it up, and he'll try and break the cage open if needs be, or take a swing at the lock if it's a padlock, or whatever needs to be. He just wants to get this open.
Okay. You reach over. You grab. There's a hefty padlock there, but it's large enough. You can get your hands around it and give it a twist. Go ahead and roll D20 and add your strength.
I will be doing this with advantage. Nat 20.
Okay. You snap it with ease. You know, it was a good sized lock, but again, it was big enough that it gave you a healthy purchase for your hands. You turn the metal on itself, it snaps, clatters to the ground, and the cage door opens. And you look in. You see there is the body of a girl. It's difficult to tell how old, as she's kind of crumpled up, but clearly not an adult. Maybe a teenager, lying there in almost a fetal position, shivering and unconscious. Threadbare rags, her dress in tatters, lying on the cold cage floor just inches above the sewer.
Does Brim recognize this girl?
As you look closer, we're going to go to Gimbal. Gimbal. You sit on your stone, your bag of holding, item by item, emptied out, thrust, your hand throbbing where you punch the wall, your chest heaving until there's nothing left in the bag and you're alone. What do you do?
Oh, you did.
With the emptying of the bag, the emptying of his emotions, nothing left, exhausted, fights after fights after fights, very contrary to his nature, hearing animal sounds.
You hear animal sounds, you hear horses, you still hear all this off in the distance.
Okay. Just so contrary to my nature, just so constantly fighting and always trying to not kill the things. Start to grab the larger items, one by one. The staff, darkness into the bag. The scrolls that haven't been learned yet into the bag. The dagger that was found in the dwarven cavern. Deep breath and into the bag. The gold he had acquired, the gold Millie gave him. Slowly, by handfuls, shoveling it, pushing it, grabbing it into the bag, almost like every one of them is a stone too heavy to carry. Into the bag, into the bag. Everything he had, except the clothes on his back, everything into the bag. And the ring that was given to him at the gnome hold, still on his hand. Everything else. The amulet that he found that can hold the spells, in the bag. Everything. Everything. It's just too heavy to carry anymore. Just put it into this bag. Put the bag over my shoulder. Walk a little ways along the ridge of the rock. Tired. Suddenly Brim and Lilith and his mom and his siblings and Rin and Yolanda and just walks. And at some point, walking in the direction of Hamlet, just falls over, passes out.
As Brim falls to the ground and passes out on the rock, his hand bloody and I'm sorry, Gimbal, his hand bloody. Y'all know what I mean. You don't have to. We have now Rin. Rin, in the chill of winter night, you crunch through an unknown forest in an unknown direction. By yourself now. The light of the moon cannot guide. The stars cannot guide. You have no idea where you are. What do you do?
Continue walking in the direction that Gimbal pointed out.
All right, so you're gonna. So wait a minute. So because you said you moved away from Gimbal, did you move? If you move in the direction,
No. Then Gimbal pointed Hamlet towards Hamlet.
Right.
He told me where Hamlet was, so I nodded, and that's the direction that I went in.
Okay, so that's what I was trying. So
Yeah.
you go about 300 yards. So while he's doing this, and you see horses and armed men moving up and down the road. And do you just walk into the road, or what are you going to go parallel to the road? And what are you doing?
Not knowing the area, he gave me a general direction. I would probably Rin would probably ghost the road in the forest slightly, following the road in the direction that Gimbal pointed, so as to try and stay semi-hidden, but try and follow the road to Hamlet.
All right. As you do this, you crunch along, and you see there are, now that you're this close to the road, there are dozens and dozens of men and horses moving along, some carrying pikes and blades, others just robed, and they seem to be milling back and forth in the direction that Gimbal had pointed you. As you continue to walk in the forest, as Gimbal slumbers, and as the rest of the party wanders back through the forests beneath the Free City, that will end Greyhawk Awakening episode 54. And so I want to say thank you to all of our players. Thank you to all of the Mad Chatters. Thank you, Antiquitous. We're going to hang on to that 500 that you just actually gifted 1,000 here in the last couple of minutes. So let's make a note of that. We're going to make sure that gets gifted to the players for our next session. And we really appreciate all the support we had tonight. I saw us crest 66 or 69, I think. I don't think I ever saw us get quite to 70 tonight. I think we came one short. So our giveaway tonight is going to be the Mantic Games Terrain Crate box set here, the livery stable. And so if you have not yet, type !terrain in the chat, and we're going to do that giveaway in just a moment. As we get ready to do that, we're going to go through why you should be Stream MVP. And we had several comments in the chat. Is that Celtic Boar said you saw 70 briefly? Did anybody? I want to make sure I don't fail to do what I said I was going to do. I watched it but I know sometimes the actual Slobs client doesn't show the same way it shows in the viewer. So let us know if anybody else saw 70 briefly. Where was I? So yeah, so the giveaway, normally Stream MVP is difficult, but tonight there were so many comments in the chat. Obviously you had incredible role play from every single character here tonight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to let them tell you why their comrades should be Stream MVP. We're going to have, let's let... And Josh, I know you said you had a date tonight, and not to make this an emotional episode. I mean, I can't help what happens, right? So let's have Josh, you're going to tell us why Evelyn should be Stream MVP. Evelyn, you're going to tell us why Gimbal should be Stream MVP. Terry, you're going to tell us why Lilith should be Stream MVP. And Lilith, you're going to tell us why Terry should be Stream MVP. Did I miss anybody? I think I got them all. All right. So let's start off with you. Now, remember, the players the PCs get 1,000 experience points for that. And we will award that to whichever of them get your votes. And so let's start off. Brim, go ahead, Gimbal.
Yeah, I missed that. Who do I got?
I said, no, I didn't give you.
You've got Brim.
Oh, yeah, you've got Brim. Yeah, you got Brim.
Okay.
All right. So let's start off with you, Josh. Why should Evelyn be Stream MVP? Squeaks for MVP. No squeaks for MVP.
Do I even have to go through it? Like,
no,
Evelyn should be Stream MVP because holy crap. How tall are you? You're 5'6", correct?
IRL?
IRL or in game? She's 5'9" in game.
5'9". This 5'9" individual tearing a 7.5 foot tall hunk of muscle and whey protein, a new one, as she just lost her friend. She's going off on her own, not caring about what's in front of her, not caring about any of the crap she's just seen. She's just fought like a kraken thing, an undead. She's fought a floating wizard dude, a crazy effing woman, and she doesn't care. She's a honey badger at this point. She can tear everyone apart. Alondra's roleplay, amazing. And especially bringing in her last character with no hold, like, no
Shot
holds
to the
barred.
heart, and you do.
Well, you know, I'm really good with critical to the heart, so.
Oh my gosh. Like, nothing more really needs to be said. She did an incredible job role playing her character.
All right, let's go to you, Evelyn.
Gimbal should be stream MVP for his trying to actually figure out what was going on because he did not see what happened with Rin and Brim. And trying to find some sort of compromise and a path forward with Rin and being as kind as possible. And then once, you know, still aiding Rin, even though from Gimbal's perspective, he is completely lost as to why Rin's upset with him, but still, you know, aiding him to find his direction to Hamlet. And then the role play that followed that with, you know, throwing everything down and punching the rock. And then, of course, now just going through feeling the weight of everything on him and just, you know, putting everything away and collapsing in the sheer overwhelming nature of it, because he's worried about not only his party members, but he's worried about his family, and he doesn't know who's in danger that he needs to protect. So
Well said. And I like the symbolism also of throwing everything into the bag. All right, let's go to you, Terry. Why should Lilith be stream MVP?
As he takes a drink.
I know, right?
I served as a waiter.
like,
No, I've never done that.
So Lilith should be a stream MVP. First off, for wonderful use of magic in the finishing of the fight. You know, learning from Gimbal how to use magic in ways that are maybe not quite so conventional. But what's even bigger was the role play where we saw Lilith really kind of bare herself and her feelings about what has happened in the past and what she feels is so important. This family that she has been with for so long now. Additionally, the slipping of the 3 items into Brim's pocket. You know, the coin, Gimbal's rock, the flask, those things which are so important to her as items as a collector, but knows that they need to be used to help Brim move forward as well.
Nicely done. Well said. All right, Vivi, go ahead.
I think Terry should be stream MVP because Terry's character right now is facing such a pivotal moment in his character story arc, one that he did not expect or was prepared for in any which way, shape, or form. Being ripped away from his only way of healing, and then getting sucked into a portal and then going unconscious, and with the thanks to the wonderful Mad Chatters was able to come back to life. Although Terry didn't say as many words, I think every single word that Terry did say during this stream carried so much weight and so much meaning through his character, who's just now ripped away from everything he knows and his only friend, and is trying desperately to figure out where he stands as a person, minus everything that he knows, and in the middle of nowhere with somebody who betrayed him, and he had to make these decisions. And I think every single step of the way that Terry played his character was very, very true to Rin. And it was nice to see a different side of Rin compared to the very loving, bubbly, screamy, shouty monster when we're not supposed to be shouting monster side of Rin, which is it's another just very nice part of Rin's character as he grows.
Well said. Let's go to Gimbal.
Yes, so Brim should be stream MVP because Josh kept to the character of Brim, and what I mean is Brim grew up in this very rough way, right? Always being yelled at and all this stuff. So, oh, here's another one. But he stood his ground until Millie's memory got brought up. And then he didn't care. He wasn't going to attack, but he didn't care what happened to him. So, like, still holding that ground and then pulling himself back in. Again, just those learned behaviors that he got. And then his interaction with Lilith and being able to move into what he's learned with the interaction with Lilith over the last large portion of time, and the grin, the smirk, the giving of the dagger, and the well taken care of dagger to Lilith. He wasn't cold when Lilith gave him a hug, but just that friendly brim in that moment, saying, "Go forward, I'll be right there. I'll be right there." So that's why.
All right. I wanted you each to go through that because I did not want to miss the opportunity for each of you to be able to tell why you appreciated the role play of your peers so much and to recount those details. We are not going to do an individual stream MVP tonight. We are going to make all of the GHA players tonight the stream MVP. You guys were incredible. Each of you are going to receive 1,000 experience points for the game. I will still put up a poll based on those descriptions. If you go ahead and put the poll up, but change the title from Who Stream MVP to Who Gets the Extra 1,000 Experience Points. I'm going to give another 1,000 experience points for whoever gets the most votes from the Mad Chatters so that they still have an opportunity to weigh in on their thoughts. But I could not assign that to one of you tonight. You were all absolutely incredible. We did also crest our 70 viewer count, and we stayed above it for quite a bit. We were at 73 for a while. So the giveaway is this incredible Mantic Games Zombie Troll Regiment. And so you need to type !terrain in the chat. As you type !and terrain in the chat, we'll run this giveaway in just a minute and we'll do the roll off. We'll give you time to vote. You also see we have some fan art again from Pat Draws, Alondra Gatling Gun Tovin. I brought that up when Brim was talking about her, the honey badger.
Can you bring up the meme?
Yes, the meme was awesome. Let me do that. Thank you. While I'm doing that, anybody, player sort of out of character comments, thoughts on the session tonight, things that maybe you were thinking that you couldn't express in an overt way, or thoughts on elements of the game that you like, or maybe you didn't like, anything at all that you want to cover tonight before we sign off while the fans are voting.
I think go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, I was just.
No, please.
No, you first. I was just gonna say that I think as characters, like where we all are at, like last session hit us pretty hard, and behind the scenes we had all gotten together and like talked for a tremendous amount of time about everything, and we all love each other so much. And I think we were all very nervous coming into this session, not knowing what was going to happen or how things were going to play out, and we were just all expecting a lot of emotions. I just want to say I love you guys so much, and the stream did not go as I thought it was going to go, but I loved every single moment of it, and I think everybody was so true to their character and was so in the moment. It was just unreal. And I think I saw somebody say in the chat that this was like one of the best Blue Box streams ever.
Yeah, I had we saw several people say, "Is this the best? Maybe the best. Top 3 for sure." There was a lot of like, which as well it should be. I mean, I would call this the penultimate episode for the Wayward Bolt, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But I couldn't agree more with everything that you said. And thank you again to the Mad Chatters. A lot of new gift subs, a lot of new followers today. Thank you so much for all of that. Pat Draws, 5 more gift subs. Longshot, thank you for the sub as well. And well done on that fan art, Vivi.
It wasn't fan art, that's just photo editing.
Yeah. That's what I meant, meme. Sorry. That's what I
asked you about cubic feet.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no.
So, any other comments from the players before we go ahead and do our roll off for the giveaway? That's !terrain in the chat. I had something I want to bring up real quick because I thought this was an interesting moment, and there were really two things that happened here. So I knew, of course, this was a huge topic all week. I knew that you guys had chatted. I chatted with a couple of you after the session. I think 3 of you after the session last week. Elandra gets the extra 1,000 XP. Thank you very, very much, everybody.
Thank you all.
Not surprising. Absolutely well done.
No.
But what was interesting about that is when Call was also expressing his feelings, there were two things that happened there. One, I interrupted your case in Cadence. Now, that was intentional for the timing of the stream. I really wanted to go to break at that moment because I knew what was going to happen once you said what you said, that we were not going to get a break at any point after that, right? So I knew.
Way to go, Carl.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of the director element to what I was doing there, and I felt bad because you were already generating the emotion, and I knew that I jumped in, but I also knew you would be able to get right back there very quickly, and you clearly showed that. But the other thing is, you guys have to remember, Call wasn't on your calls with you this week. Call knew Rin every bit as long as Elandra did. Call was impacted by Rin. Well, no, you guys had
Elandra's known him for a very long time.
Well, yeah, you had met before, but you guys weren't like really close. You said you were acquaintances before.
Not close, but we knew each. She was in my temple a fair often because of a common acquaintance.
Okay,
No,
yeah. So,
Carl, you can't sit with us.
no. So yeah,
Common friend.
We shared a friend.
yeah, I think so. So I think fair enough. You guys called it a common acquaintance in the backstories. I read them again.
Yeah.
So there was no deep bond here, and then
No,
Rin,
but-
Rin had a huge effect on Call, and Call was really rethinking his ideology. You know, he came from the savage wastes. He had never met anyone like Rin, and there had been several episodes where Call was really questioning his faith, his belief. So he very much had a visceral reaction. I think in the sort of or in character nature of that NPC, that was a critical thing for him to be able to express as well. So I didn't mean to steal your mojo or your thunder, but I didn't think I could play Call correctly to what he's supposed to be as an NPC without him reacting that way. Thank you for the Mad Chat follow, Nyla Trep. Any reactions to that, comments, critiques? I'm open to any of that.
I know, Cole steals kills. Cole steals everybody's thunder. How he does.
Call steals kills. That's such a lie.
He tried to claim my kill as his own.
He did.
He's like, I flew off the thing and I killed it with my son.
But he was
Didn't I
wrong,
do that?
right? He didn't actually steal it. All right, so let's go through this. You, Josh, you're going to be rolling for. I gotta get that meme off the screen. I can't keep looking at that. All right, so
That is the face of math.
all right, so the first entrant. Remember, you haven't won when you see your name. You'll be one of 5. Iculus, Josh, thank you so much, Josh. Always a huge supporter. Of course, a sub. Been following us. You're coming right up on your year anniversary. You started following us last September. All right, then Old School FRP. That is going to go to Gimbal. Pop us in the chat and let us know you're still with us. Old School FRP and Iculus. You got to say hello in the chat because you must be present to win. Next is Toriano Biggie Paw. That's going to go to you, Rin, Terry. You've got Toriano. And then we're going to go to Josh. You've got Art of Mike Disney. And I know Mike's in the chat. I just saw him.
I've got Iculus.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So
Iculus,
that went to Evelyn. Yes, I was moving around my Zoom. So that should be all 5 of you, right?
No, I don't have anybody.
Mike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then the last one is D&D player 888. All right. All right. So here we go. Now, don't leave after the giveaway because we have 2 quick announcements that I want to make about what's going to be happening in the coming weeks and something I want to run past the players. So we've got maybe 5 to 10 minutes left. Does that work for you, Vivi?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So let's start off with you, Josh. Tell us who you're rolling for and give us the roll.
I'm rolling for Iculus. And that is going to be a natural 19. No modifier.
Nice.
Damn.
And I think I saw
Adidas.
everybody confirmed. Old School FRP, Iculus,
Biggie Paw
Mike's
did.
here.
Biggie Paw. Yeah, okay.
So did D&D.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody's in. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so you got a 19 for Josh. All right, go ahead, Evelyn.
All right, I'm rolling for Mac Disney, our lovely sponsor, who has created the Elf Record. You should check him out on Twitch as he paints.
Which you will see at Virtual Greyhawk Con.
He has created. He is the creator of the most majestic beast in the world.
That's a natural 20.
Of course it is.
A nat
Of course
20
it
for
is.
Mike Disney.
I wish I had her weighted dice. dice.
I mean,
Just dice.
dice. You just
All
have
right,
regular dice.
let's go ahead, Terry. Tell us who you
All
got
right,
and make the roll.
Biggie Paw. First roll is terrible. Second roll is not much better.
Yeah,
1 and 3.
Everybody was a sub, yeah, so they all get 2. 1 and a 3. Sorry, Toriano. I don't know why Terry doesn't like you. Go ahead, Josh. I mean, Rory. Go ahead, Rory.
So granted, Terry just got a 1, but I definitely think we should go with the lowest number so I can actually win one. 'Cause I get the ones constantly. So I got old school FRP.
Ooh, that's a heavy
and
dice.
10.
No, all right.
That was a metal die.
All right, last chance. Here we go, Vivi, for 888.
Okay, D&D player 888.
And 888 won on my stream last night. So if we
Okay.
can get 888 to win two nights in a row, that'd be.
Thank you again, Chris.
That's
Gotta
6
love this. Awesome.
and a 16.
All right, Art of Mike Disney. Congratulations, sir. And wow, could there be anyone better to get the Kings of War Troll Zombie Regiment? Can anyone not? This will be amazing to see what Mike does with these guys. That's going to be absolutely awesome. So don't drop yet. We got just a couple quick announcements. Also, I forgot to mention, thank you again to Pat Draws for the Mini of Shame. Glitter Bomb John. This is a Hero Forge Mini. That he purchased and painted in dishonor of me and in honor of Rory for the glitter. So thank you for all the fan stuff.
Give away that many.
All the folks that do so many cool things for us here at Blue Box. We really, really appreciate it. All right, so 2 quick things. 1, be prepared. It is my expectation that next Tuesday night will be the final chapter of Book 1 of Greyhawk Awakening. So we will be concluding what is Book 1. Now, if you're not familiar with this, if you haven't been on streams where we've talked about it, we've done it a few times. This is not the end of the Greyhawk Awakening story, nor is it the last time you will see these PCs. And it is certainly not the last time you will see these players, unless one of them is going to quit based on tonight's episode, which they haven't told me yet. But if any of them do, it's my anticipation you will see all of these players returning for Greyhawk Awakening Book 2. These are interwoven stories, so it's the same story, not exactly the same, but it's the same story arc, same world, same Greyhawk, same DM, same players, different PCs. They will be kicking off. My anticipation is in 3 weeks. So here's what's going to happen. Next week should be the final episode of this book. The following week, that Wednesday night, or Tuesday night rather, the following, I want to do a GHA Wayward Bolt tribute stream where we talk through the stories, the events, we recount tales, we chat with the viewers. I want to show the Millie ceremony on the ocean side again.
Do I need to break the letter out again? Because I still have it
yes.
saved.
Well, I want
be prepared to cry.
I want the letter broken out right. So here's what the next 3 weeks look like. Next week will be the final. I mean, there could be something that would, but most likely it should be the final episode for this group of players with Book 1. Then the following week will be our sort of recap of 55 sessions going back well over a year, and allowing us to have the fireside chat, interact with the viewers, tell stories, show some of the video clips, and just have a great time celebrating all the great role play and all that's happened. And also talking about bits of the story, because there's going to be some interesting things that are going to happen for you guys as you resume new PCs, and you're going to be in a different part of the world of Flyness. You're not going to be, in the Verbabon Comlet area. You're not going to be starting in the Free City. You're going to be somewhere else on the Flyness. But you may hear threads of things which would be reminiscent to you as players, but not to your PCs. And so you guys have already shown a great capacity for not metagaming that, and that's going to be very important as we move into Book 2. So anybody have any questions on that? All right, now we can't leave this stream without one question. If you've watched this show tonight and you've been with us and you have not followed, which I doubt there are many of you because we've had a lot of new followers tonight, or if you're a follower and you haven't subbed, there might be a couple of you out there, or if you're a sub whose sub has expired and you have not resubbed, we all have one question for you here tonight at Blue Box. What are you doing? Oh, wait. One more thing. I forgot. I promised I wanted Terry and Josh to talk about their streams last night. Can you guys each give us a quick recap of Children of Dirt and Extinction Curse, and make sure that people know where to find your streams on Monday night, and shout out kind of what's going on in your campaigns? I'll let, which of you likes to go first?
Josh should, because this is the early one when most people can make it. Mine's the late night. Nobody goes to mine.
Game.
Nobody goes to mine. Yours is the early one.
I was at yours.
Josh,
you work nights.
Yeah.
Josh, go ahead.
Okay,
Thanks for the
fine.
bits.
Hi.
I'm very non-biased.
I'm Josh of NPC Voices on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, OnlyFans, and I run the Children of Dirt stream on Monday nights from 7:30 Eastern to 11:30 usually Eastern. Sometimes we go a little over, sometimes we go a little earlier. But it is mainly a low magic campaign, which is weird because the players are encountering magic right now and odd like trinkets and artifacts. But yeah, a lot of rough stuff that's happening recently as they've come upon fables or creatures of legend known as vampires and vampires for those that don't get it. Whoa, yeah. And so it's a really fun game. Think Castlevania mixed with Dark Souls, mixed with Vikings, mixed with what other thing I usually say that I can't remember at this point. The Witcher, all smashed together in one dark fantasy of me torturing two of my players, which we're hopefully going to be getting 2 more players within the next month and a half.
All right, outstanding. And can you drop a link where you can be found in the chat so people can go over there?
I already did it.
So just scroll up then, because somebody. Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah, right there. All right, great.
I already did it.
Go ahead, Terry.
She's always on.
So Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we run a Pathfinder 2E campaign called Extinction Curse. It is set in Galarian. We currently are in Aberton, a small town on an island in the inner sea area. Evelyn is one of my players, and each of the players are actually members of a circus. Though currently they're dealing with some hullabaloo in town, would be the best way to put it. And you can find us on the link that Evelyn did there. I also stream mini painting from time to time, and working on my second stream, gathering players for that stream, which is another Pathfinder 2E stream.
Outstanding. All right, and with all that said, last announcement, don't forget virtual Greyhawk Con, October 1st through 3rd. I don't think there might be 1 or 2 live streams that still have some openings. If you go to the link for the tabletop events, you can check out, but you can also sign up to watch and make sure you know what all of the events will be. Both the Blue Box ones were sold out really quickly, and I know Jay's are all sold out. I believe Robert's are all sold out. But I believe there might be a couple that are still open if you want to be a player. But make sure you sign up for that. I'll be running 2 modules on that Friday night. I'll be running the custom adventure based around the Overgourd as created by Mike Disney, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I have some really fun things in mind for that. And then
Can I play?
And then on Sunday, I'll be running a module by Carlos Lysing, and you know his stuff is always good. Castle Entertainment, so it's going to be a great time. All right, with all that said, Josh, do you have energy left for the date tonight? Everybody have a great night. We'll see you all tomorrow night for Lore Masters Arcanum. We're going to be joined by Mike Dingman, DM Dingbat, and also by Fraley17, Patrick Fraley. He's going to bring a 3D printer here in the room. We're going to do live 3D printing. We're going to talk about tips and tricks from 2 guys who really know a lot about 3D printing. And as always, I'll be joined by the lovely and talented Evelyn. So we'll see you tomorrow night for Lore Masters Arcanum at 5:30. This is Blue Box getting ready to raid. We're going to raid who's up. Let's see here.
There's a lot.
Yeah, we've got, let's see.
Troll Lord's
up.
Blue Box.
Not Great
Light
RPG.
Art.
I repeat, Light Art.
All right, let's see here.
The Games Tavern. Dead Aussie Gamer.
All right, let's
Satine Phoenix.
do Is Troll Lord doing? What are they doing? Are they mini painting or are they gaming?
I'm clicking over to see what they're working on right now. They're doing a troll talk with Steven Chenault.
All right, well, let's do that. Steven's a great guy. Let's raid them. Troll. Look,
69 again.
Here we go. All right, we're going to raid in 10 seconds. And one more thank you again on behalf of all of us here at Blue Box for all of your support. And I'm looking for my countdown channel. I don't see my raid countdown.
It's counting out right now.
Okay, good. Man, it's so weird how this sometimes doesn't show here. Get my raid now button.
Oh, when someone's gonna take your picture, but they haven't pressed the button yet, you just
You're just like,
Well, so it didn't give me the raid now button, so I'm gonna have to try it again. It's done that before.
The timer is counting down.
Yeah, but is it still count? Because it should go down to 0 and then give a raid now. Is it still counting?
No. Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't see a counter either. That's weird. Try it one more time.
Hold on. Let me
Something
see.
went wrong. Yeah, it's giving me.
7,
Okay, let's just see
6.
what happens.
5, 4,
Thanks for your patience, everyone.
2, 1. Rating now.
Enjoy your date, Josh.
But I don't have a button to do it.
I got it.
it
I
rated.
don't know why. All right, very good. Thank you so much.
51.
All right, and we're gonna kill the stream in 3, 2, 1.